Okay, how many are we? All right, I think we have enough people on the call. Okay, so now if you see here, those of you who pay attention to this area where I took this trade from, you realize that the trade I took here wasn't this thing, what is the name? Wasn't based on order block, but it was based on order flow. Order flow. Okay. You see that this 15-minute order flow was not mitigated before price came back here. Now, after marking this order flow, I didn't get any proper zone in 15 minutes. So what I did was I went down to 1 minute to get my order block. Okay, I went down to 1 minute to get my order block. Now, remember, let's go to H4. You know that market has been in a downtrend. So those of you listening to my audio yesterday, the voice note I made on GU and EU as well as gold, I told you guys gold is going to be selling for some time until it take out the last 8 months or the last 3 months low or week or so. I'll come down, I'll come there. Okay, because those are the key liquidity levels. And mind you that in this our SMC trainings course, we were looking at what? At SMC trading. We were looking at SMC trading with liquidity. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. When you see order flow that has not been tapped into, but you've not gotten any proper order block within the order flow to trade, you mark the order flow, then you go down to your entry time frame, and then you refine that order flow. Okay, you refine the order flow to see if you have you have order blocks within the order flow on your lower time frame that you can make either direct entry from, or you wait for our change of character confirmation and all that before making your entry. All right, so that is one thing you need to understand. All right, now, so as I said, I mark my order flow already. I know market is in a downtrend. As you can see, per structure, we have been we have been going down. Per structure, we have been we have been going down on Euro USD. If you take gold, the same. Right now, I'm sure the news has gone in favor of gold as well. Let's take a quick look at that. You can see that as well on gold. You can see market pushing down on gold as well. All right, all these are SXX USD pairs. Okay, so they tend to to move. If we take a look at GU, I'll come back to the Euro USD and continue. You see, after sweeping of the liquidity, when we start this, I told there will be a sweep of liquidity, and then the news will push the market back after the sweep of liquidity. Always market look for fuel. Okay, it looks for fuel. And I told you liquidity is the fuel in the market, is the fuel with which the market moves. All right, so if you are able to get your proper order block or order flow refined into order block, then you can use the entry criteria that we've learned to make some quick cash for yourself. As I said, I don't fear news because I always move with the market order flow, the order blocks, and liquidity. Okay. All right. So now let's go back to Euro USD. Good. All right. So let me use an empty chart that have no marking on it. So this guy have no marking. So what I did was I went onto H4 first to check my overall movement. That was this morning, this dawn. Then what I did was I mark out my key levels. Okay, that is my key um liquidity levels. So first I squeeze the whole chart to be able to see the left hand side, the history. Okay, on the left hand side, let me remove the period for now. Let me remove the period separator so that you can see the um that should be okay. Good. So when you zoom out, you realize that you can see the left side of the chart. So you just try and get your nearest liquidity levels to price. Okay, so around that time these areas were my liquidity levels that I mark out. Now the next thing you do is, as for the weekly and the daily liquidity, I always mark that at the beginning of the week. Okay, that was why I was able to do the voice note that I did for you guys yesterday. So now once I'm done with that, I go down to my 15 minutes. I'm a day trader. Okay, so I have to go down to my 15 minutes. The buyers I want to see from H4, I have confirmed it, and already I've looked at the daily buyers and the weekly buyers already. So I only need H4 for confirmation. Then I come down to my 15 minutes. So what do I do with my 15 minutes? I look out for either my order block or my order flow, and I'm expecting price to to come into that order flow. And then I look for a refined area within the order flow. So here you can see this our last major order flow. We have other order flows here, but this our last major order flow with respect to our structural marking. Okay, please, if you don't see me marking break of structure and those things, I expect you to understand all those things by now, and understand that you should always use those structural levels to move with order flow. Okay, once you know your trend. So here, this is my my last unmitigated order flow. I marked it down. Then I went down, waiting patiently for price. But before that, I went down to to my 1 minute, and then I refined my order flow on 1 minute. I refined my order flow on on 1 minute. So this entire area is our 15-minute order flow. Good. So what did I do? I look for unmitigated POI in this area. Okay. Now, if you watch here, somebody will mark this guy as as a POI. Somebody might mark this guy as a POI and those things. But remember the concept that we learned in the course. Okay, you have to follow those guidelines in marking your POI. I always like to see at least price sweeping. So here, the reason why I didn't go for this guy is I didn't see price properly sweeping any of this double top. So I didn't go there because I feel price could come and sweep here. Okay, despite there was some imbalance here, I was not satisfied with what I was seeing. So I went for this entire area here. Okay, because that kind of suit my bias that I was looking for. Okay, so this was my area that I was waiting for price to tap into. Okay, so let's come back. That was my first area. Then now, so this is kind of like decisional area, decisional OB within the order flow. All right. So what I look out for next is I try to get my extreme order block within the order flow. Okay. Now I didn't go for this guy because I still want to see a little bit of sweep above this guy, which I didn't see, though I marked it down, but I was not, I just marked it down for a reason, to see what price will do in case price decide to not work out on the decisional OB. So I marked this guy down all right. It has an imbalance between this guy and this guy, so it met the criteria for me. This area was already filled by this guy. Okay, so since this guy is above, this guy is having like an inducement over there, I just picked that zone, though I don't have very good faith in it. But as you know, trading is a probability. That is why you need other confluences to what, to take your trade. So I just mark this guy down. All right, so if you watch the original chart, you realize I have two zones over there within the order flow. All right, now when price got here, as usual, we need to what, we can enter based on different criteria. You can choose to take a straight buy, sorry, a straight sell. Like for instance, maybe somebody who want to risk high can just choose to take a straight sell from here. All right, but then I didn't take a straight sell. I waited for price because of the order block that is up there. I didn't take that direct sell. What I did was I waited for price to what, to give me a change of character. Okay, now this guy swept the last candle. All right, so I was looking carefully at it. All right, I was looking at this zone over here within that structure over there. Now I only marked this zone after I realized there was a change of character over here for me from this valid pullback, that I got my change of character. All right, now we have inducement also formed over here, so that is kind of giving me more idea to what, to take trade based from what, this refined zone. So that is why I made what, I made that sell that you saw. So my entry was what, was here. This was where my entry was, and then my SL just above. Okay, you see I've given the trade some briefing room. All right, and my target was at the what, at the previous here, that the 15-minute low. That was my target. So let's go to 15 minutes. Let me be sure that is where. Yeah, so this guy here, that was my target here. Yeah, that's my target. So you can see the news, you can see the news grabbing all the liquidity at the down here. So it grabbed this liquidity as we were speaking, and then it tapped into this single, the 15-minute single candle order block here. This, all right, after sweeping the liquidity just in here, it tap into that. But you can refine that zone, you can refine that zone on 1 minute. Okay, please, I didn't take this particular one. We were on the call when the news came in. I didn't take this one. The one I've taken, the trade I took, is what I've just explained to you why I took the trade, and the trade was what the trade was based on. And this particular trade was based on order flow before I refine the order flow into order block on 1 minute. And then I look out for a chalk. I got an inducement, and then I make entry from my decisional OB. Okay, all right. So here there was a sweep of this green candle. That is why I marked that candle. um I know some of you will be wondering, but there was no proper imbalance and stuff. That's why I said we will refine this particular candle on the lower time frame. This is news, so most of the time news I use 5 minutes. Okay, so let me go on to my 5 minutes and refine that. All right, so you can see the 5 minutes don't have an imbalance over here. So what price did was it took this liquidity, it took out this liquidity as well and tapped into the imbalance. So remember, I told you imbalance is also a zone. Don't forget that. It's also a zone. When we're doing imbalance, I told you it is also a zone. Just that most of the time it's not advisable to trade only imbalance. So it doesn't mean that price cannot reverse in within the imbalance. Price can reverse. That's why most people like to take trade from the imbalance as well, which I will not advise you to do so most of the time. All right. Now, if let's say the first trade I took didn't hit my target, then the news would have what? Would have caused it to what? To hit my target. I was targeting what? This 15-minute low. And you can see we are already done with the trade before even the news. And even if we're not done, the news still was in our favor. So this is how you'll be able to what? To trade and still meet um and so be able to what? Align with the news when you understand where the market movement is or the market shift is and liquidity is. So now that you can see that market is taking out all the liquidity, the downside liquidity, you can see a whole lot of what? Liquidity over here as well as this area. Price came, sweep all of them, leave another form of liquidity here. All right. Okay. So so now let's see. Right now, price clear this liquidity, tap into this inducement. Remember, now this 5 minute zone is still hot, untapped into. Okay, so price can still come back, tap here and go down. This is kind of like inducement for this particular move. Okay, so price can still what? Tap in here. Price can still tap in here and give us some movement like this. All right, so we can still keep an eye on this zone. It's not totally ruled out. Or sorry, or price can go to the extreme zone over here, the extreme zone over here, and then push down. So the two possibilities are valid. All right, any question on what I've explained, why I took the trade? Sorry, these days I've not been. We will later meet in the week for the course, to go through the course. By now, I'm sure everybody has finished watching the lesson. So we will later meet during the week to what? To go through the uh, course. Okay, questions and answers from you guys. All right. Yeah, so if you have a question, just raise your hand and I will give you access to speak, or you can just type it in the group and then I will answer you. Yeah, any question? Or you guys are okay? All right, I can see there are no questions. If there are no questions, then I'm going to end this afternoon's meeting and you schedule a meeting for a class later on where all your questions from the lessons will be answered. So it's not only from other blocks that we can trade. So take note. This is why I decided to do this class. You can trade from what? Other flows as well. All right. So the purpose of this class is to show you that we can what? We can trade from both other flow and what? Other blocks. You see this reversal. Let's check something. Let's go to H1 and let's see something. I will not be surprised that that reversal has tapped into um, a POI either on H1 or H4. That is why it is giving us that reversal there. Um, yeah, you see, there are a lot of POI at this area here. So one of them has been what? Has been tapped into by what? By price. This is why we are getting that reversal that we are getting right now, that you are seeing that price reverse after what? Sorry, after what? The news sweep the liquidity below here. You can see that move. After sweeping all the liquidity, it taps onto a higher time frame POI. That is why that reverse is happening. So most of the time you can catch the news on both sides. You can catch it on the sell side and you can catch it on the buy side as well. And don't forget that when we check the news over here, you can see we have what uh the forecast was 8.8, but the actual value is what? Positive 9.6. Okay, so I was not surprised that we had a dip before we are reversing with what? With the buy. That is why I said trading view is almost like everything. All the news events, you can directly get them here without going to uh all the news sites to have to fetch your news. All right. So I think I'll end here, unless let me check the page and see if there was any question. Okay, I think somebody has raised their hand. Um, yeah, you can speak. Mansion. Mansion, just tap on your mic to unmute yourself and speak.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I said that I saw you trade 15 minutes and 5 minutes. What prompted to for that kind of time frames? I
You
thought
saw
it's
me.
15 minutes and a minute time frame.
Come again.
I thought you are trading on a 15 minutes and a 1 minute time frame, but I saw you refine your zone to using a 5 minutes time frame.
No, that is for news. I said when I'm trading news, I mostly use 5 minutes as my higher time frame.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
okay.
But
Oh,
when I'm doing the regular analysis, I normally use 15 minutes.
okay.
Yes, after I've checked
Okay,
my bias on daily and H4, then I use 15 minutes for my higher time frame. And then I refine that on the 1 minute time frame for my entry.
okay, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Steve, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Just tap on your microphone. I've given you permission, so tap on your mic. Steve, can you hear? You raised your hand, so I've permitted you to unmute yourself and speak. Okay, I think Steve is not hearing me. Any other question? I think some people are typing on the page. Okay, somebody said I cannot even brief. Was waiting for this, but I couldn't enter because it came. right at the news without an entry, 320 pips. Well, as I said, when you want to trade news, before the news, just look for your liquidity. That's one thing I have to tell you. Before the news, look for both your buy side liquidity and your sell side liquidity. Then you look out for what? Zones that are just above your buy side liquidity and your sell side liquidity. Okay, once you look for those zones, oh there, just like be doing hide and seek for them. Just be watching them, the zones just above your liquidity. Okay, one, they should be unmitigated and they should have imbalance. Once the imbalance is filled, just prepare yourself, okay, to take your entry and then you risk low. That is all right. um King FXR, market has reacted over the zone that have liquidity below. Yes, that is true. You are right. I think you are talking about the chart you drop on the page. Sure, that was what happened. The news reacted to the zone just above the liquidity before the fall in price. That is for gold. If you look at gold, same with the other USD pairs. I think somebody was talking about the GBP JPY also. Yeah, like I have limited pairs that I trade. If you see, these are all the pairs I trade: GU, EU, UJ, AU, and then gold. Then I use the dollar index to determine the direction of the market for the week and all those stuff. Once in a while, I look at US 30 also, but not always. It's just once in a while that I look at US 30. But the other pairs are my trading pairs. Okay. So this is so far so good. Today I only took one trade. I missed landing session entry, the buy entry on landing after taking out the low, the session low on Asian session, but I was able to get the sell. So I think that is okay for me for the day. It was enough. Well, I took that on my prop firm account. So guys, it was nice having you this afternoon, and we will meet again. We will be doing this often time. I think somebody
Hello,
is
Prof.
talking. Yeah,
Please, I want which indicator should I use for section section trading?
this one, the one I gave you guys, Asian session high. This particular one, can you see? I've just activated it.
Okay, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
that is the name here. It's
okay, okay,
Asian session range. Okay, Asian session range.
okay, 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 okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, um, see, the page is there for you guys to discuss. I love what you guys are doing there. I want you guys to perfect to some extent before we start uh, putting on a whole lot of charts on the page. Okay, so you guys can continue. FXR, Z-Man, um, Ellie, and some other people. You guys are doing well. John and co. You guys are doing well. Keep it up. The rest that have not been putting charts on the page, nobody is going to criticize you whether you are wrong or correct. You are learning. Okay, you are learning. So always try and what and engage on the page. You guys are more than uh, okay, on the discussion page, you are 200 something. On the channel, I can see about 600 and something people. But I think some people didn't join the discussion. They joined the channel, but they didn't join the discussion page. So do well and join the discussion page also. Okay, it's very important so that you can interact with others. All right. Those of you who want to try some of the prop firms. I think I recommended some of them to you. You can try them. You can do your own research about them. Okay, don't say because I did my research and I come and tell you, then you start. No, you can also do your own research to be sure that yeah, they are paying and all those stuff. Then you can purchase an account with them, pass your challenge, and then you can get a live simulated live account to trade with and split profits with them. All right. Okay. I love you guys all. Have a nice afternoon. I'll meet you on the page. It's bye for now.